Well, it was just last month that we talked about Journey and had a very positive update that was welcomed by fans, with Neil Schon saying in an interview that the group had moved past that very bitter and very public dispute they had been embroiled in over the last several years, one that was very disappointing for fans who, really hate to see this group that's accomplished so much, one of the most legendary bands of all time, trashing each other publicly on social media, suing each other, spouses getting involved, all this kind of stuff that just is really sad to see. And so it was very much welcomed. It was applauded by fans, people saying how excited they were to see the band perform now that they're on good terms again. And unfortunately, that did not last very long, because now Jonathan Cain has just filed another lawsuit against Neil Schon related to the expenses in the band. Now, this is similar to a previous lawsuit that he had filed that was eventually worked out, and now it's seemingly all ramping up all over again. In a shocking report published last year by Billboard that detailed the extent of the feud internally within Journey, it claimed that Neil Schon and his wife Michelle had sent an assistant into Jonathan Cain's dressing room to look around. It was reported that Cain caught the assistant red-handed. He later hired an off-duty police officer to guard his own dressing room backstage. Journey sold over 75 million albums worldwide, and you would think that once you reach that level and you pretty much can tour for the rest of your career, it's not probably hard for them to sell tickets given their catalog. It might be easy to get along, but for Journey, it has been arguably the biggest challenge of their career to refrain from embarrassing themselves with this very public and very petty feud they just can't seem to get away from. And unfortunately, over the course of their career, members of Journey have been involved in many lawsuits, including one from 2020 with Neil Schon and Jonathan Cain suing former Journey drummer Steve Smith and bassist Ross Valory. The suit later settled in April of 2021, though the terms of the settlement were undisclosed. But Steve Smith and Valory soon would leave the band. And while Neil Schon and Jonathan Cain were united in that 2020 lawsuit, they would eventually turn on each other as well. And in the years that followed, that has been the story for Journey. At a time in their career when fans should be focused on their legendary accomplishments, Neil Schon and Jonathan Cain have been unable to manage their public relationship to the extent that all of this has spilled over into the public eye. In late 2022, Neil Schon sued Jonathan Cain, claiming he was blocking access to financial records. In response to that lawsuit, in a statement to Billboard, Jonathan Cain slammed Schon's accusations, calling them malicious lies. And he said the lawsuit had absolutely no merit. And Jonathan Cain went even further to allege that Neil Schon was really under financial pressure due to his extravagant lifestyle. So he made it sound like there were some poor financial decisions being made, which were at the root of all of this. Cain said in the statement, Neil has been under tremendous financial pressure as a result of his excessive spending and extravagant lifestyle, which led to him running up enormous personal charges on the band's credit card account. When efforts were made to limit his use of the card to legitimate band expenses, Neil unfortunately decided to attack me rather than trying to get his reckless spending under control. When you hear Jonathan Cain and Neil Schon talk about their dispute within Journey, there are two very different sides to the story. In the interview from Neil Schon just last month, he put a lot of their tension on political differences and the use of politics in their music, something he's vehemently against. But for Jonathan Cain, it sounds like it's very much an issue about spending within the band. And according to a February interview from Journey drummer Dean Castronovo, the solution for the internal problems within Journey would involve bringing in Jonathan Cain's wife, Paula White Cain, and Neil Schon's wife, Michelle Schon, to co-manage the band. He said, John and Neil, I think it was all about just communication, having those guys sit down, with Michelle and Paula. Actually, the wives helped a lot. It was bringing them in and just going, guys, talk this out. This is too big, too beautiful, and too great to see it flush down the toilet. Mend the fences. Now we've got Michelle and Paula, John's wife. It's all four of them co-managing this band, and it's working. They're getting along, and they're working together. It's one jet again instead of two. They're running it like a business. That's what it should have been. There was a lot of turmoil in both camps, and nobody was talking. That was the problem. Now they're all talking and communicating, and it's working great. Paula's a great businesswoman. She's smart with money. Michelle is a people person, and she's got the gift of gab. We just do our jobs. We go out and play, and it works. Man, it's great. I've got to give all four of them credit. But as for Neil Schon, when he talked about a lot of the issues within the band in that interview last month, he placed a lot of the blame on politics. Schon told Lindsey Parker on a podcast appearance, "We just decided that the music is the music. We worked really hard and diligently on keeping this thing alive all these years and just not let the other stuff get in the way and kind of keep it separate." And Schon wants to keep politics out of Journey. He said, "It was actually a rule that way before Jonathan was in the band, that we would never have politics involved in our music or any one religion, because Journey is for everyone. Anytime you get political and you segregate, you're going to lose fans. And why would you want to do that? Just keep it open for everyone to be able to enjoy your music as music." But now, unfortunately, we're in a situation again where Jonathan Cain has filed a brand new lawsuit, and it's all about money, and it's allegedly related to Neil Schon's spending. In a new court filing, according to the San Francisco Chronicle, Jonathan Cain has sued Neil Schon, accusing him of extravagant spending that's having a negative impact on the band. In the court filing that was recently unsealed, Cain claims that Schon is regularly exceeding the band's hotel fee of $1,500 per night, and that he had maxed out a band American Express card with a $1 million limit. He had chartered private jets and hired a personal friend as a security guard. The suit was reportedly filed on July 24th, just a few weeks after Neil Schon's interview, where he said things were going good within the band. It's hard to tell what exactly is going on here, how this situation is going to play out, but Jonathan Cain has alleged in the past that Neil Schon is a very extravagant spender. And so it seems like this issue has come up again. And when you're a classic band that's been touring for many years, I would just assume that in the past, maybe Journey was, while they're still bringing in crazy money now, maybe in the past they brought in a lot more money, but if you don't adjust your spending as that evolves, it can run you into problems. And so maybe as a business owner, and I believe Jonathan Cain is a co-owner of the band, this is very concerning for him. I hope that they can resolve this, but it's obviously very shocking to see this playing out just a few weeks later when everybody was so hopeful that they had put this in the past. So very unfortunate. But as well as if you're dealing with really extravagant spending and you're a member of the business, you're going to want to do something about that. So very unfortunate. And I do think it affects Journey's legacy, which is very unfortunate for a band that has done so much good musically. So again, we're going to have to see how it all plays out. As always, let me know what you all think in the comments. Very, very crazy stuff. That's your latest update here from Rockfeed. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on if you're new here for the latest news and updates.